It started with a sound. Not a scream. Not footsteps. Just a whisper. Very soft. Very slow. At first, nobody noticed it. People thought it was wind moving through old trees at night. Some believed it came from broken pipes under the city. Others blamed their imagination. But then the deaths began. The small town of Black Hollow had always been strange. Fog covered the streets every night after midnight. Dogs barked at empty corners. Children talked about a shadow standing near the forest. But nobody ever took those stories seriously. Until the whisper arrived. The first victim was an old man named Carter. He lived alone near the edge of town in a wooden cabin surrounded by dead trees. One night, neighbors heard him screaming. By the time police arrived, the cabin door was open. Carter was sitting in the middle of the room. Dead. His eyes were wide open. His mouth frozen in terror. And written across the wall behind him, in blood. It spoke to me. Nobody understood what happened. No sign of forced entry. No fingerprints. No weapon. Only silence. 3 nights later, a teenage girl disappeared after walking home from school. Search teams found her jacket hanging from a tree deep inside the forest. Under the jacket, words scratched into the bark. Can you hear it too? Fear spread through Black Hollow like poison. People stopped leaving their homes after dark. Shops closed early. Church bells rang every evening as warnings. But the whisper kept growing louder. Some people heard it while sleeping. Some heard it in mirrors. Some heard it calling their names from empty rooms. And once you heard it, it never stopped. Ethan Cole was a journalist from the city. He didn't believe in ghosts or demons. When he heard about Black Hollow, he thought it was another fake horror story created by frightened villagers. So he packed his camera, recorder, and notebook and drove straight into the town. Rain poured heavily the night he arrived. Streetlights flickered weakly. The town looked dead. Nobody walked outside. Even the motel owner looked terrified when Ethan mentioned the whisper. "You should leave," the old woman said quietly. Ethan laughed. "I'm just here for a story." The woman's face became pale. That's what everyone says before it finds them. At exactly 2:13 a.m., Ethan heard it for the first time. A whisper. Right beside his ear. "Ethan." He jumped from bed instantly. Nobody was there. The room was empty. But the voice felt real. Cold sweat rolled down his neck. Then came another whisper. Closer. Slower. "Come outside." Ethan grabbed his flashlight and opened the motel door. Fog covered everything. The street was silent. Then he saw it. A figure standing at the end of the road. Tall. Thin. Completely black. No face. No movement. Just standing there. Watching him. Ethan raised his camera. The moment the flash exploded, the figure vanished. But the whisper returned. Now inside his head. "You saw me." The next morning, Ethan investigated the town archives. Hidden inside old newspaper files, he found something horrifying. Black Hollow had a dark history. Over 70 years ago, a group of villagers practiced forbidden rituals deep inside the forest. They believed they could communicate with spirits beyond death. One night, they disappeared. All of them. When search teams entered the woods, they found a circle of bodies hanging from trees. Eyes removed. Tongues cut out. And one message carved into the ground. "The whisper has awakened." Ethan felt chills crawling through his body. He continued digging deeper. An old priest finally revealed the truth. The whisper was never human. It was an entity. Ancient. Hungry. Evil. The villagers had opened something they could not control. And now it was spreading again. The priest handed Ethan a burned journal found near the ritual site decades earlier. Inside were terrifying entries. "It speaks at night. It watches from corners. It enters through fear. If you answer the whisper, it marks you." Ethan's hands trembled. Because last night, he answered it. That evening, strange things began happening. His motel television turned on by itself. Whispers echoed from the bathroom sink. Shadows moved without light. Then Ethan noticed scratches appearing on his arms. Long, deep, fresh. He heard breathing behind him. Slow breathing. But when he turned around, Nobody was there. At midnight, the whisper returned stronger than before. Come to the forest. Ethan tried covering his ears. The voice only became louder. Come to me. Suddenly, every light inside the motel exploded. Darkness swallowed the room. Then came the sound of footsteps, walking slowly across the floor. Ethan's flashlight shook violently in his hand. 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps. Closer, closer. Then silence. Complete silence. Ethan pointed the flashlight toward the corner and froze. The tall black figure stood there, its body twisted unnaturally, its face empty. But inside the darkness where its mouth should be, hundreds of moving teeth. The whisper escaped from inside its body. You listened. Ethan ran. He burst out of the motel and drove straight toward the church. Rain hammered the windshield. Behind him, something moved between the trees, following the car, running impossibly fast. The church doors slammed shut behind Ethan as he entered. The old priest looked terrified. You saw it. Ethan nodded. The priest whispered a prayer, then revealed the final truth. The entity feeds on fear and voices. Every victim who hears the whisper becomes connected to it. Slowly, it drives them insane until they disappear. But worse, every victim becomes part of the whisper itself. Thousands of trapped souls, speaking together. That was the sound people heard at night. Not one voice. Many voices, crying forever. The priests believed there was only one way to stop it. Return to the ritual site. Destroy the seal. End the connection. At dawn, Ethan and the priest entered the forest. Fog surrounded every tree. The deeper they walked, the colder the air became. Then the whispers started again. Hundreds of them now, all around them. Invisible voices calling from the darkness. Some sounded like children. Others sounded ancient. Then Ethan heard Carter's voice. Help me. The priest grabbed Ethan immediately. Do not answer. But another voice came. This time, it was Ethan's dead mother. Ethan, please. Tears filled his eyes. The whisper knew everything. It used memories. Pain. Love. Fear. Anything to break you. Finally, they reached the ritual site. An enormous circle carved into the ground. Black symbols covered the stones. Dead animals surrounded the area. And in the center, a hole. Deep. Endless. The whispers came from inside it. The priest opened the ancient journal and began reading prayers loudly. The ground shook violently. Trees bent unnaturally. The whispers became screams. Then the entity appeared, slowly rising from the darkness below, taller than the trees. Its body made from shadows and moving faces. Thousands of mouths opened across its skin, all whispering together. Don't leave us. Ethan nearly collapsed from terror. The creature stretched its long arms toward him. Images flooded Ethan's mind. Every victim, every death, every soul trapped inside. The whisper wanted him too. The priest shouted for Ethan to destroy the seal stone. But the voices became overwhelming. They screamed inside his skull. Blood poured from Ethan's ears. The entity moved closer. Then suddenly, the priest stepped forward, holding a cross tightly. He looked at Ethan calmly. Run. Before Ethan could react, the priest jumped directly into the endless hole. The screams exploded across the forest. Light burst upward like fire. The entity shrieked with thousands of voices. Its body twisted violently, cracking, breaking apart. The forest shook as shadows ripped through the air. Then silence. Complete silence. The whisper was gone. For the first time in decades, Black Hollow became quiet. Days later, Ethan prepared to leave town. People slowly returned outside. Fear disappeared. Children laughed again. Everything seemed normal. But on his final night, Ethan heard something. Very soft. Very far away. A whisper. Ethan. He froze. His blood turned cold. Then his phone screen turned black. And words slowly appeared. You can never escape. The lights died instantly. Darkness filled the room. And somewhere inside that darkness, something whispered again. Closer than before.